Welcome to Utah. We're in Sandy, Utah, about 15 minutes outside of Salt Lake City for a huge matchup. Utah Royals FC against Orlando Pride. Both teams want to be in the playoffs. 3 points will go a long way. And welcome to Rio Tinto Stadium. I'm Dalen. A huge matchup here in the NWSL today. Orlando Pride coming in third right now in the standings. Utah at 6, but this is a really jumbled up cluster we're in right now. 3 points will go a long way to getting into that top 4 spot. Of course, today we are on ESPN, the worldwide leader. Good to be here. 7 o'clock Eastern kickoff, and I will be joined by none other than Kate Markgraf, aptly in a throne. She is soccer royalty, so I think I probably should just get down on one knee and get really genuflect to who you are and what you're all about.
I feel like Goldilocks, Dalen.
But you look fantastic.
Thank you.
Now, more importantly, we're going to have to toss it up first. We're going to get you the lineups right now. And Jenn Hildreth, who I know you're in the throne right now, but Jenn is the queen of our crew. She is our leader, and she's playing hurt, folks. She's got a dinged-up ankle, but it doesn't matter. She's got to give you your lineups right now. Jenn, take it away.
I want to be down there in the throne, although Kate did look good in it. Yes, I'll take this opportunity to give you guys a little PSA, okay? Kids, do not look at your phone while walking down the steps. That's all I'm going to say about that. But you can look at your phone to get a sneak peek at the lineups. That's what I've got for you here. And you're going to see a lot of changes for Orlando in particular. Both of these teams coming off midweek matches. For the Orlando Pride, check it out. 3 in the back. This is something that Tom Sermanni, in his words, has fiddled with, but we haven't seen it very often. He is looking for something better. This team has lost 3 of its last 4. KRIEGER in that back line, making her 100th NWSL appearance tonight. Now, there is no Sydney Leroux in this lineup, the leading scorer. She's available to come off the bench. There is no Marta after the red card she picked up on Wednesday. So Alex Morgan and Rachel Hill, let's see what those two can do with some more firepower coming from those wings as well, with Bogagoo and Edmonds getting this start tonight. For the Utah Royals FC, this is a team that has lost 2 in a row, and they have been shut out in those 2 matches. So, can they find a way to get this offense to click? That's long been the question for Laura Harvey since the arrival of Kristen Press. You see her there in the starting lineup, she and Amy Rodriguez. Can they figure it out in this match? Diana Matheson back in the match. She'll start, but that back line, wow, no Becky Sauerbrunn, no Sam Johnson, as she picked up her 5th yellow card on Wednesday night, so she misses this match at well. Can that back line handle Orlando's attack? That's going to be a key thing to keep an eye on. Gunny Jonsdottir, by the way, who always plays hard, sitting on 4 yellow cards, so 1 more for her, and she will miss the next match. So there you go for the lineups. Now let's go back to Dalen and the queen, Kate Markgraf.
We got 2 queens. We're unbelievable here on this crew. Let's start where Jenn actually posed the question. I'll pose it to you. We will get to Kristen Press and how she fits in the lineup with some of your Twitter questions coming up in just a few minutes. But with the back line right now, Becky Sauerbrunn, U.S. Women's National Team captain, she's out injured. Sam Johnson on yellow card accumulation, one of the best offensive attacks in the league. How do you handle that from a defensive standpoint?
Well, defensively, I think the biggest loss is Kelly O'Hara. They need a right back. They need that player up and down the wings because she's so versatile. But you nailed it. Without Sauerbrunn, you lose that veteran leadership and that one that rights the ship when everything kind of gets a little chaotic. What they need to do is create more passes within that midfield and connect to their front line. They get so stretched that if they're able to connect that midfield to the front and they stay more compact moving forward in the final third, they're going to be a lot more dangerous.
This team is a team that needs to be more dangerous going forward. They've struggled to score goals, and they've actually ceded 5 goals in their last 2 games in losses. Orlando, though, a team that we keep talking about, all the talent they have. We're with them every week, I feel like. We've seen them the last month. What is the deal right now? Is Tom Sermanni searching a little bit, a different formation? What's your reaction when he first told us that this week, that they're kind of going with something different?
Well, sometimes when you have a ton of talent, you got to try to figure out how all those pieces fit together, how that puzzle is going to best work in their formation. So that's what he's doing. Shifting formation, shifting players in different spots. They're trying to find that elusive chemistry, because once they do, with the amount of game changers they have, who have the most valuable skill in soccer, the ability to put it back in the net, this team could be unbeatable.
We saw that last year. They started to click and they went on that run. They made it to the playoffs, but they've not found that consistency this year. Now, everybody, almost 6 teams were in action Wednesday night. So let's get you all the highlights from a very busy Wednesday to start with the Courage and the Washington Spirit. And early on, Debinha, 12 minutes in, Lynn Williams hooks it up, and the Brazilian scores her 6th of the year.
Well, the Debinha just sit in the right spot. Williams does all the work, draws the defense into her, and then dumps it out. And Jess McDonald getting a little bit lucky, but takes that separation touch and able to put enough of a bend to get it up and over the keeper.
Unfortunate for Aubrey Bledsoe, the keeper, and the Spirit. They fall 2-0 on the road, so the league leaders expand their lead. Orlando goes into Houston. Sloppy turnover after a 2-hour weather delay in the 12th minute, but Rachel Daly makes them pay, slots it past Ashlyn Harris, puts them up 1-0, and they would keep pouring it on. It would be Daly. That was her 5th of the season. Now Ashlyn Harris punches it out. Weak punch. Daly there to pounce on it again.
And Daly just has carried so much of the load for this team, able to get onto anything. And here we go. An excellent 3rd goal from a rookie.
Tembi Catlana, first time she scores in the NWSL, and that was in the 95th minute, but then more fireworks with about 60 seconds left. Marta pushes Rachel Daly in the face, frustration boiling over. They were down 3-1 at that point, straight red. The 5-time World Player of the Year gets a relatively early shower as the game was just about to be over. She is out this match because of that. Seattle hosting this Utah team over the weekend. Laura Harvey going up and playing her old team and seeing Megan Rapinoe do what she does. Peels off the back header, 1-0, and that's how that would end the W for Seattle. Here's your slate coming up tonight. Sky Blue hosting the league leaders, the Carolina Courage. Chicago and Seattle, that is a huge game right now. Seattle sits in 2nd place. Chicago is in there at 4th right now. That's a big one, 8 Eastern. And then Portland hosting Houston, Houston's in the mix now too. As we take a look at the standings, that win against Orlando put them in the conversation. So you have Houston on 20 points. Take away Seattle, they create a little bit of space for themselves, a 4-point cushion. But between Orlando to Houston, 3 through 7, all those teams separated by just 5 points. So it's going to be a fun race to the end. And our first Twitter question is about that very race. So let me read that real quick. And it comes to us from Cass at CassieSPWC. 7 games left in our season, 3 playoff spots left after North Carolina clinches #1, which they could potentially clinch today, which is insane.
Ridiculous.
Absolutely ridiculous. And the 6 teams that actually have a shot at making it are within 9 points of each other. That's too close for comfort. She's absolutely right. We have a graphic made up of this that kind of breaks it down for folks to see as we go forward to this thing, how many teams you have left. I'm not sure if we're going to pop that up or not. How many games they have left, and their average strength against the opponents they have left. With that said, we'll get there, I think, on the screen here. What is your thoughts here? What do you think in terms of this race? Who are the 3 teams along with the Courage playing?
Well, it's all going to come down to momentum, luck, and who doesn't have any injuries. And then that chemistry piece is so critical. I think Seattle is in. But to me, it's not really who's in that 1, 2, 3, 4. We know 1 is done. It's really who's in that 2 and 3, because you don't want to be 4th. Right? You do not want to play Carolina. So I think Portland is going to try to jump. They're all trying to get to that 3rd place spot, because 2nd place might be uncatchable.
It's a great point, because 4th place, you do not want to play in North Carolina.
No.
That's not a good idea for anybody. But you saw those numbers there. Portland has a weaker schedule comparatively to other teams. Utah's schedule is really tough. They've got Seattle once, North Carolina twice down the stretch. Houston, as we mentioned, though, their average opponent points there was just over 17. They have 2 games against Washington and 2 games against Sky Blue. Now, nothing against those teams, but they've been held tight at 8th and 9th all season long. Houston would find their way into this thing. We'll see. It's going to be a fun race, an exciting race down the stretch. Next question from Ileana at Ileana_HH. What does the Orlando backline, including Harris, need to do in order to stop other teams from creating chances that lead to goals? This team has struggled. They've allowed 24 goals this season. That's 6 in the league. The last 4 games, so they've lost 3. They've allowed over 2 goals a game. So what's up with their back line?
Well, the key to that is that KRIEGER hasn't been in the lineup. KRIEGER brings that consistency and that stability and that experience to read service. Right now, there's been too many individual errors because I don't think they have that natural leaner. Shelina Zadorsky's in there. She does a good job, but she's also playing with people that have different styles. And Allie KRIEGER seems to be the one that can combine that back line. Now that they're in a 3, I'm interested to see exactly how it's all going to shape out. If they reduce those individual errors they're also making due to lapses in concentration, Orlando could be a pretty formidable side on the defensive end.
It'll be interesting. KRIEGER will be slotting in as one of those 3 center backs with a couple wing backs on each side, as we showed you earlier in the lineup. She did miss Wednesday's game, as Kate mentioned. Really getting her knee back to 100%. They didn't want to push her too hard. She told me before the game. It was really hard to watch. It was tough for her to watch that game, but she'll be out here in the starting lineup. Let's go to number 3 here. This is Lucy at Back to Lucy. Do you think Press should play as a center forward next game? She obviously can create what she wants in every position, but against Seattle and Portland, her teammates seemed uncomfortable with her playing on the side. She is starting on the side again. We talked a little bit with Laura Harvey yesterday about this. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, the question is, where is she starting? Because I like Press starting on the wide left side, because then she can cut in and not only create as almost like a false number 10 coming in and helping out centrally. She also can then get forward. She has the freedom to go wherever she wants, but this gives her a lot of space and a lot of freedom to work whatever channel that she wants to play in. If you're up top, that's the only place you're going to be. And then you become that target forward and releasing pressure. They want her to help build, and put her in that spot gives her more opportunities to get on the ball from different angles.
1 goal, 1 assist in her 4 games played, but as I mentioned, last 2 games, 0 goals for this team. Amy Rodriguez starting up top too, definitely wants to get things going and find a way to put the ball in the back of the net, especially here at home. We'll be back in just a minute with more from Rio Tinto Stadium on our pregame show. Everybody's getting set for the Pride and Royals FC, a big-time matchup here in the NWSL. Back here at Rio Tinto Stadium, we're about 9 minutes from kickoff on ESPN News. We got our whole Lifetime crew here ready to give you the great presentation of this game that's really critical. And no doubt, Orlando BACKLINE, who we just touched on, needs to play better in this game, needs to find a way to limit goals. KRIEGER has been a critical piece of this team since coming there last year from Washington. She caught up with Kate just a few minutes ago.
Allie, congrats on your 100th NWSL appearance today.
Thank you.
What does reaching this milestone mean to you?
It means a lot. You know, it's I've had a long career and an exciting one, and obviously I'm so proud to represent Orlando Pride wearing purple in my 100th game, a club that values me and appreciates me, and something that I've worked for my entire career. I'm just excited to get to this point, and this isn't the end. So I have a long way to go, and for what I want to accomplish for myself, but this is just a really fun milestone for me in my career.
Well, congratulations on that. And then the follow-up question is a little bit bigger. It's about your team, a team that may be in third, but the performances have been a bit inconsistent, according to your head coach, Tom Sermanni. Yeah. What have been the barriers to finding that consistency?
I think, we just have to kind of find the chemistry again that we actually had towards the end of last year. I think we did such a great job getting into the playoffs and kind of having that chemistry and cohesion on the field that I think we can find with the players that we have. It's kind of funny thinking, you look at our roster and, you have such great players, and we have such great depth on the bench as well, and in our game changers. And it's quite surprising that we haven't really gotten to tick yet. So we're still trying to find that stride. Obviously, with the amount of games that we've had as well. Try not to make excuses, but of the Wednesday, Saturday games, it's tough to have the same lineup and not allow players to rest and make sure that everyone's at their peak performance. So that's kind of played a little bit of a role as well. But we will find our way. We just have to continue to believe in ourselves, continue to trust in ourselves, and know that we can put a good product out on the field, and we just have to do that.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
And we'll see if they can put it together today. As we mentioned, they've lost 3 of 4 games. Before that, they were 6-1-3. They started to seem like they were clicking, although Tom Sermanni will be the first one to tell you he wasn't pleased with the performances at that time. He was really pleased with the results, though. Now they've got a little bit of issue in both places. See if they can right the ship. Amy Rodriguez, on the other hand, made her debut coming back from an ACL injury. The year before that, she was on maternity leave. She took nearly 2 years off, but she came back here on April 15th, electrified this crowd in the opener of this facility for the Utah Royals FC. It was a great experience for her, but she knows she wants to find a way to help this team score more. 13 goals scored, currently 7th in the league. Here is Kate with A-Rod.
Amy, the Utah Royals are 4 points out of playoff contention. What does your team need to do to get back in the race?
Well, I know tonight is a must-win for us. Obviously, our main goal is just to make the playoffs right now, and no team really wants to be in this position like we are in right now, but hopefully tonight we can get our 3 points and keep pushing towards those playoffs, because that's really where we need to be right now.
Now you have a new teammate in Kristen Press. With her insertion into the lineup, how does that impact how you play as well as the team's overall attacking approach?
I will say I'm so happy to have Kristen here. She's such a great, insertion into our team, addition, a huge attacking threat, which is fantastic for me as, another forward. I love that maybe it'll take a little bit of pressure off me and we can really work off each other. And I'm just hoping that we can really get connected because, like you said, she's a recent addition to the team. And so we're just working on that chemistry. And hopefully tonight out on the field you can see, good quality play and attack.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And she mentioned her new teammate, Kristen Press. We'll hear more from her right when we get to the top of the hour. And at halftime of our broadcast, Kate actually sat down with her yesterday, so get a little more in-depth about how those two are going to play together and what they can create here and possibly make a playoff run, as A-Rod said right there and told us off camera. We just got to win the game. They need these 3 points. And a big key to that, a big addition to that, would be Diana Matheson, the Canadian, comes back into the lineup. She was missed Wednesday night's game due to a disciplinary action retroactively from a tackle she made in the game of the weekend. She missed Wednesday night's game, but she is back in the starting lineup, and she's with Kate.
Diana, you're a Canadian international and a veteran in the NWSL. What does this team need to do to become more of a threat in the attacking part of the game?
Yeah, I think it's been a question of chemistry for us all season long, and we've been waiting for it to click, really. And I think it's just a matter of time with the roster we have, the talent we have. I think we just always have to be available for each other on the field. And now that we're at home, just make sure we put on a show and we get in crosses, we get shots, and we create a lot. And hopefully a few will go in today.
So both on the field and in the locker room, as one of the veteran leaders, what are the discussions you're having with your teammates?
Yeah, I mean, those were pretty much the things we spoke about recently. Are we making sure we're in the right spots for people? So there's always easy options. So we're not having to try and do too much to kind of overcompensate for not scoring goals and just doing the simple things right.
All right, thank you. Good luck.
Great, thanks a lot.
Big game, no doubt, for Diana and the entire Utah Royals FC team, as well as it for Orlando. Talking to Tom Sermani before their game against Houston, he thought that was a must-win game because he was saying you got to beat teams that you're above in the standings. And Orlando is that place right now. They're in third right now. Utah's down in 6th, but again, 3 points for Utah brings them up in the mix closely. And Orlando gets 3 points. They'll be nipping at the heels of Seattle, who now have a 4-point cushion above them. Fans getting ready to go here at Rio Tinto Stadium. We're getting ready to switch over to ESPN News, so grab your remote. Pop that in. E-News is where you're heading. Royals FC against Orlando Pride. The stars are out as always. Alex Morgan and crew for Orlando along with Sydney LaRue. On the other side, Kristen Press is here. A-Rod, women's national team players all over the field and what is a huge game. So we'll see you on ESPN News in just a second.